From being a UFC middleweight champion to having an undefeated record of 21-0, here are all the reasons why Israel Adesanya is a better fighter than Alex Pereira. Let's start off with the most glaring and obvious reason: Israel's records. Now, Adesanya has a much better MMA record compared to Pereira. Oh, and when I say that he has a pretty impressive record, I mean it. He's won 21 fights and lost only one. That's definitely nothing to sneeze at. He is known for his striking skills, particularly his precise and powerful kicks. In comparison, Pereira's record is a bit less impressive. He's won 3 fights and lost 1. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean he's not a skilled fighter. There are plenty of reasons someone might have a less robust record, like not having fought as many matches, for example. But when you compare the two records side by side, Adesanya definitely comes out ahead in terms of wins and losses. Of course, there are plenty of factors that can contribute to success in MMA beyond just wins and losses. Technique, strategy, physical fitness, and mental toughness all play a role, among other things. But overall, it's safe to say that Adesanya has had a more successful career in MMA so far. Plus, it isn't only his career that's been exemplary. He's also had a tougher track record of opponents as compared to Alex. In fact, Adesanya has fought and defeated much tougher opponents than Pereira. For example, he's faced off against the likes of Kelvin Gastelum, Anderson Silva, and Yoel Romero, all seasoned fighters with impressive records of their own. In his fight against Gastelum, for instance, Adesanya showed off his resilience and determination. Despite being knocked down early in the fight, he managed to come back and win via unanimous decision. Similarly, in his fight against Silva, Adesanya demonstrated his striking skills and strategic acumen, winning again via unanimous decision. And then there's his fight against Romero, which was a particularly challenging one. Romero is known for his explosive power and athleticism, and he pushed Adesanya to his limits. But Adesanya managed to stay composed and pick his shots carefully, ultimately winning via unanimous decision. In comparison, Pereira's opponents haven't been quite as formidable. I mean, while he's certainly shown off some impressive striking skills in his fights, he hasn't yet faced off against any opponents on the same level as Gastelum or Romero. That's not to say he won't get there eventually. After all, every fighter has to start somewhere, but at this point in his career, he just doesn't have the same level of experience and track record as Adesanya when it comes to taking on tough opponents. Now, what helped him land all these crazy opponents? Well, it may be the fact that Adesanya is more well-rounded than Pereira. I mean, Adesanya's well-roundedness as a fighter is one of the reasons why he's such a force to be reckoned with in the UFC. While he's primarily known for his striking abilities, he's also a skilled grappler and has won fights by submission. In fact, Adesanya has shown great improvement in his grappling skills over the years. He's worked with some of the best grapplers in the world, including Olympic medalist wrestler Yoel Romero and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt Andre Galvão. As a result, he's become much more confident in his grappling abilities and has been able to use them effectively in fights. On the other hand, Alex tends to lack in this department. He isn't as versatile as our man Israel and primarily relies on striking, and hasn't shown the same level of grappling ability. Not to mention, Adesanya's striking skills are not just limited to one aspect of the game. He's a master at using a variety of striking techniques, including punches, kicks, knees, and elbows. He's also known for his ability to switch stances seamlessly. All of this combined makes him a bigger threat than Alex. But it's not just his well-rounded style. He's also got some pretty amazing kickboxing records under his belt. Adesanya has a more impressive kickboxing record than Pereira. He began his professional kickboxing career in 2014 and has amassed a record of 75 wins and just 5 losses, with 29 knockouts. Meanwhile, Pereira started his professional kickboxing career in 2014 as well, but has only fought 37 times, winning 33 and losing 7 with 21 knockouts. Another factor that sets Adesanya apart is the level of competition he has faced. Adesanya has fought and defeated some of the best kickboxers in the world. This includes Glory Kickboxing middleweight champion Simon Marcus and former K1 World Grand Prix champion Alexei Ignashov. In fact, Adesanya won the prestigious prestigious Glory 34 kickboxing tournament, which featured some of the best middleweight kickboxers in the world. While Pereira has also faced some tough opponents, his resume isn't quite as impressive as Adesanya's. He has faced and defeated some notable fighters like former Glory middleweight champion Jason Wilness, but he hasn't had as many high-profile wins as Adesanya. Overall, Adesanya's longer record and a higher level of competition make his kickboxing record more impressive than Pereira's. Of course, both fighters are incredibly talented and have accomplished a lot in the kickboxing world, but Adesanya's record stands out as particularly noteworthy. Plus, that isn't the only thing that sets him apart. It's also the fact that he's competed on higher levels. Adesanya has proven himself on the big stage. He's fought and won in some of the biggest MMA events in the world, such as UFC 253 and UFC 259. Pereira, on the other hand, hasn't had the opportunity to fight on such a grand stage yet. In contrast, Pereira's career has mostly been in smaller promotions, such as the Brazilian promotion Jungle Fight and the Russian promotion ACA. While he has had some notable wins in these promotions, he hasn't yet had the chance to prove himself on the grandest stage of MMA, the UFC. Of course, it's important to note that Pereira is still a relatively young fighter and has plenty of time to make a name for himself in the UFC. But as of now, Adesanya's success in the UFC gives him an edge when it comes to overall impressiveness in the MMA world. And I'm pretty sure that comes with experience, which is another upper hand that Israel has over Alex. Yeah, make no mistake, Adesanya is more experienced in MMA than Pereira. He's been fighting in MMA since 2012, while Pereira only made his MMA debut in 2015. This means that Adesanya has had more time to develop his skills and experience different situations in the cage. With all of that experience, this level of excellence was bound to come out, and fans often argue that if given the time, Alex could maybe show the same potential. That's not all though. Another point to consider is Adesanya's better fighting IQ. He's known for his strategic and tactical approach to fighting, and can adapt to his opponent's style and weaknesses. Pereira, on the other hand, can be reckless at times, and has been caught out by opponents with a more strategic approach. Besides, Adesanya has a more polished and technical striking style than Pereira. He's known for his precise and technical striking, and he has a wide variety of striking techniques in his arsenal. Pereira, however, relies more on raw power, and can be somewhat predictable in his striking. And that is obviously a huge factor when it comes to the comparison of the two. At the end of the day, both Adesanya and Pereira are incredibly talented fighters with impressive kickboxing skills, but Adesanya's longer record, higher level of competition, and success in the MMA make his record stand out as more impressive than Pereira's. And that, folks, was all I had for today on why Israel Adesanya is a better fighter than Alex Pereira.